Hey guys, WQ here, and look, I've been doing pseudo timerless runs in Link to Paths for about, I would say, 2 days now. I've done about 4, maybe 5 pseudo timerless runs, and I did 1 race, and I'm all about timerless runs. I think timerless runs are the end game of speedrunning. It's the ultimate form of speedrunning, and it's hard to do a timerless run. I've never done a true timerless run. I did half of a true timerless run once. I was forced to because my power to the computer went out. And so my TV was running. I didn't feel like resetting. I just finished the run. I learned more in that half timerless run than I've learned in the rest of my career. So yeah, I think timerless runs are pretty big. Now, I haven't been doing timeless runs lately because I don't think I can. I don't think I can sit down and do a true timeless run, or better yet, do 100 true timeless runs back to back, and then even better yet, try my hardest. The whole point, right? I don't think I can do that, so I'm not going to force myself. Like, I don't care, whatever, you know. I got a lot I can do. I got a big plate and a lot I can do, so I'm not going to force myself. There's just no point. But I think they're the ultimate end game, and I'm starting to find ways to learn how to do things, you know? Now that I can do an infinite number of consecutive no reset runs in a row, well, I'm thinking, well, I could probably do an infinite number of consecutive timeless runs in a row. If I could figure a way out, if I could figure out a way to do it, you know? If I could figure out a way that makes sense to me, I could just do it. And the thing about timerless runs is, someone will see no reset. I think no reset runs, I think it makes sense. Okay, you learn more of the game, you're playing more of the game, you know, you have to, it's a whole run, it's a natural solution to the run, right? It makes sense. I think people will understand that, right? If I do 1,000 no reset runs in a row consecutively, effortlessly, I think it makes sense, right? But if my attitude dramatically improves and my gameplay dramatically improves and my stream grows by 10,000%, people are like, whoa, you know what? There's more going on here, right? Whoa, man, that's actually pretty big. That's kind of a game changer. If you do that, that's kind of a game changer. So that's great and all, but timerless runs, why would you do a timerless run? There's no point in doing a timerless run. And this is the whole reason why, actually, because, and this is why they're hard. Go up to someone and say, why would you do a timeless run? Because some people out there think you should reset. They think you kind of have to reset. And you know, I'm arguing that it's actually not a thing. You can't even if you want to reset, it's not a thing. It's not a function of speedrunning. Even if you do reset, you're not actually doing anything. You're just postponing the next run. It's like it doesn't even exist really. Well, it's the same with timerless runs, but they're a little bit more abstract again because you don't get anything out of it. Why do you do a timeless run? You're not going to get anything out of it. You literally can't. You can't PB, can't get gold splits, can't get good splits. You can't even fail. You can't fail. If you do a timeless run and you do a split, you do a segment of a split completely wrong, it counts the exact same as if you do it completely right. It's the exact same, right? So what's the point? What the hell is the point here, right? But this is the point. Because you're still playing the game. You're still playing the game, and you're always playing naturally. And when you do a timerless run with no incentive or no motivation, you have to ask yourself, why am I playing the game? Why am I playing this game? Why am I running? Why am I doing anything I'm doing, right? You have to ask yourself that question, because you're just gonna sit there. You do enough timerless runs in a row, or maybe if you have a low-level brain, if you do a timerless run, you're gonna do half of the run, and then you're gonna sit there and be like, why am I? You're just gonna AFK. You're gonna do half the runs AFK because it's not being timed. It's not being recorded. It's not being timed. And even if you get 0 blue balls, it's the perfect run. You're just gonna AFK because what's the point? It doesn't matter if you mess up. It doesn't matter if you succeed. There's no drive, right? And I think this is big because what happens is the drive becomes eternal. It's the most honest form of speedrunning. It's even more honest than no reset runs. No reset runs are great and they're pretty honest, but again, here's the problem with no reset runs is there's still a timer, there's still artificial gameplay. So when you do a no reset run, it's the most honest thing you can do. You literally have to have an extreme drive to play. You have to have an extreme drive to play the game when you do a timerless run. You can't be motivated by the stream. And actually, I would go even deeper. Timerless, no reset runs, doing 100 of them consecutively when no one's watching. Don't do it offline. Do timerless, no reset runs offline. It's impossible for them to be recorded. It's impossible for them to be timed. No one will know. You can't get anything out of it, right? And this is the thing about this. Think about this super logically. Any run you do, if it's not the best run ever by the end of your entire lifetime, is irrelevant. The only run that matters by the end of your entire career of speedrunning is one single run. So if you do 100 timerless runs that all would have PB'd and you didn't time any of them, 6 months later, a year later, none of them matter anymore. None of it matters, right? So all these fake rewards that I'm talking about that you don't get in timerless runs, these are all artificial anyway. None of these matter anyway. And then number two, what's the most important thing in a speedrun? What's the most important thing about speedrunning? It's about improving, it's about learning, right? It's about skill. It's not about the actual results. So, well, what does timerless runs do? It improves the skill. If you're playing the game and you're thinking about the game, your skill goes up. If you're trying to get gold splits, your skill doesn't go up, right? If you get 10 gold splits in a row, they're unbeatable. Your skill hasn't gone up. It doesn't mean your skill's gone up, right? But if you do a timerless run, it forces you to start thinking, right? And I mean, how true is this? Guys, how true do you guys think this stuff is, right? Because I'm saying a lot of this I believe in. I mean, I believe in all this stuff entirely. And in fact, so much to my core, I'm getting into the phase of doing timerless runs. Completely offline timerless runs, right? But how much of this is true? Because a lot of it sounds like my opinions. A lot of it just sounds like, it just sounds good, right? You know, we don't know if this is true or not. And the truth is, I don't have a cohesive argument here. And I think it's part of the reason I'm not doing timerless runs, because it doesn't make sense to me. I want to get a PB, I want to get golds, you know. What if I randomly got the world record on a timerless run? But, you know, what is the gain here? What is the, like this is a loss. This is a loss to me. It's not a real loss. That's the trap, right? It's the same trap as if people think if they choke, if they do a run and they choke, if they lose something, I lost that good run. You can't lose a run. It's not possible to lose a run because it's all opportunity. And by that, and I know actually I go on about opportunity, how opportunity is a bad thing. There's two kinds of opportunity, right? This is a good kind of opportunity. Everything you do is positive. Everything you do in a speedrun is positive. And so if you start a run, there's nothing negative here, right? If the alternative isn't to not choke there and get an amazing run. The alternative is to just not do the run at all and never have the opportunity to succeed. So there's literally, you can't lose anything, right? It's the same argument. So I do think I'm going to phase into doing timerless runs, but let me talk about my pseudo timerless runs, because this is pretty interesting. Yeah, for some reason I'm not streaming, right? I'm not streaming for whatever reason, like who knows? I can't say. So my account's not online, so I'm not streaming, but I still want to put it in the past. And this is really interesting because I'm doing no reset runs. I'm doing recorded offline no reset runs, and one of the runs I didn't record. So, and I'm only doing like 5, right? But the thing is, I hide my timer because I'm thinking about it. Well, I don't want to look at my timer. You know, let's just look at the run. Let's just focus on the run. So I hide my timer, not looking at the timer at all. I'm just looking at the TV. And I go 5 minutes in. Okay, the run's okay. 10 minutes in, I make a mistake. Okay, whatever, the run's okay. 20 minutes in, I'm like, why? You know, what am I doing here? What's the motivation? I just start doing whatever. I lose a minute here. I lose a minute there. At least 20 seconds here. I get some extra bombs. But this is the thing. Why am I doing this? Why do I care about this run? It's not a PB. It's completely dead. I'm not raging anymore because I don't rage anymore, you know, because since I started, I've done 32 big no reset runs in a row consecutively. Out of, you know, potentially 1,000, potentially 5,000. And I don't rage anymore. I've completely stopped raging at all. So I'll do this run offline, you know. I lose half a minute at the beginning. Well, I don't care. I'm not raging. So I just keep playing. But then it's like, well, I can't PB here. The runs, I'm not talking, I'm not streaming. Like, what's the motivation here? So I just kind of do whatever, you know. Sometimes I play okay, sometimes I don't play okay. Well, most of these runs are a complete ass. I would say 4 out of 5 of these runs are complete ass. No, actually 5 out of 5 of these runs. All of these runs are complete ass. They're all terrible. But these are mock timer runs, timerless runs. These are pseudo timerless runs. Because this is the thing, this is what's happening. I do the run, the timer's not relevant. The timer's not relevant. If I make a 10-second error, the timer doesn't matter. Timer's not relevant. No one's talking, there's no chat. You know, I'm deleting the video right after. So these become, in my mind, mock timerless runs. They're not pure timerless runs, but they're mock timerless runs, right? So I do these mock timerless runs, and then one time out of about, I would say 6 hours of gameplay, 6 to 8 hours of gameplay, one single time I've tryharded. One time I've made an effort in that whole hour, 8 hours of gameplay, 10 hours of gameplay. And this is why I'm making this vlog, actually, this little bit of gameplay, because this is natural tryharding. This is natural tryharding at its purest form. This is what it is. This is what I was looking to. But it's not based on output. It's based on input. What's the input? Playing the game. I'm just playing the game, right? I'm just playing the game, doing what makes sense to me, and my natural element, I'm just doing things. I have no reason, there's no reason to succeed, there's no reason to fail, I'm just playing the game, right? I go into Mire, I start playing amazing, I don't know why, I probably lost 10 seconds to a minute on every split. Suddenly I go into Mire and I'm playing amazing, I get a 1.5 second goal in Mire, which is nothing out of my skill limit, but this is a big deal. And the split was really fucking good. The split was incredible. So I get this huge golden Mire, and I'm like, what the duck, dude? And I go back, I didn't know it was a gold, right? Because I'm not looking at the timer. I go back at the recording, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, that Mire was fucking good. And it was gold? How did that happen? Hey guys, and I'm not certain, you know, this Mire, this God Mire did, it could be random variation, right? It could have just been slightly good RNG. Actually, the RNG wasn't that good. It was just completely flawless. You know, it could be slightly good RNG, you know, maybe random flux. And, you know, there actually was motivational, external motivational factors. Like I wanted to save time on at least one split on that run. And that run was pretty ass, so I wasn't saving time anywhere. So I was like, well, I can save 10 in Mire. So I was like, let's go in on Mire. I saved 11, by the way. Let's go in on Mire and let's save, you know, let's just try to save 1 second. Like I can make a few errors, but let's just get the 1 second in, right? I played like a monster, just kind of blew up. But the try-hard motivation that was eternal, that was random. That was completely random. It's the only time in the past 6 hours of gameplay that's happened, right? Usually when I'm doing these runs, it's just a train wreck. It's just a complete fucking train wreck. And so this was actually pretty fucking good. The other reason I think these no reset runs are really helping me out is because they're not particularly good runs. The far majority of them are not good runs, right? I think my last 6 runs, there's been one okay run. It was a very fucking good run. But that was a race, so it's different. But the majority of the runs are 128. I'm dying everywhere. I mean, that run with the gold Mire, I lost 3 minutes in the end of this tower. Like, that's a bad run. That's just a bad run, no matter what way you look at it. But I was looking at the rest of that. The dark rule was actually good. The meat of the run was pretty decent. Wasn't too bad, you know. Light rule was ass. There's no way around it. Ganon was okay. So it was better than I expected, I will say. But the thing about these no reset runs is they've been pretty shitty because why am I trying? Why am I doing these runs? Why am I trying? What is the motivation, right? What is the motivation, right? And there's no motivation. I did a race. I did the weekly yesterday, and honestly, I played fucking out of my mind. I think this is my best run ever. I said that probably 15 times in the past 2 weeks. I think it's true every time I say it. It keeps getting more true. And the weekly was like mind-blowingly good. Mind-blowingly good. I probably lost a minute and a half on it. It was a 1:24.12. I probably lost 90 seconds on that run. Like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. The movement was perfect. Movement was like nearly flawless. RNG was ass. And I made a lot of key errors, but the movement was just fucking flawless. And whoa, boy, that was good. Like, that run was like, okay, this is why I need to keep doing these timeless runs. This is why I keep using, I can't reset. Like, in my mind, it literally doesn't make sense to reset, but you know, this is why if I keep doing this, like, it's gonna blow up. Things are gonna turn around in the favor of the WQ. And that's pretty huge. And I think these timeless runs is the future, guys. I think it's the real truth. The truth about speedrunning, if you can do something, you can recreate it, right? So even if I did get a fake PB on a timeless run, well, I can always recreate it, right? And actually, I think I would be a huge advantage. If I got a fake PB or a real PB on a timeless run, a non-recorded PB on a timeless run, I'd be at a drastic advantage, because if I got a fake PB on a timeless run, I'd be at a huge advantage. Because the thing is, I found it, that would mean by effect, I found a way to try hard. I found a way to effortlessly, truthfully, try hard, make an effort. You know? I don't know how, it's the only way. So, that would actually put me at a huge advantage because I could easily recreate that. I could easily recreate that, you know? Where, if I keep forcing myself to, in conditions with false achievements, you can't recreate that. How can you recreate that? You know? I guess you could, but the point is, this is the whole point of the input and output. If you find a way to try hard through input, through the self, it's a million times easier to recreate that. Where if you find a way to do it through output, not necessarily recreatable. The inputs will change and the output will change as well, and you can't recreate the output. But you can always recreate the input. If you can figure out the input, you can always recreate the input. So doing it through an input purely through natural gameplay, which is the end game of natural gameplay is timerless, offline, not recorded runs. That's the way to do it. I really think there's some big stuff there, but it's hard, you know. I can't do timerless runs. My mind is not equipped. It's not equipped for it, unfortunately. But maybe one day it'll make sense to me. It makes no sense to me right now. I'll talk about it as much as I want, and I really do think it's the end game. But it doesn't make any goddamn sense. So I'm not gonna do it, which is okay, because I'm growing and I'm improving so much. It like barely matters. But I want to say maybe there was something else. There's this question. I know I'm afraid of it, and I think a lot of people are afraid of it. And what if you don't really care about the competition, or you don't really care about winning? You don't really care about first place. What you care about is ego. You care about looking good. You care about all these fake things. You don't actually want to win. This is the question. What if? I'm just playing at that what if right here. Well, a lot of people are asking that question. Guys, it's so fucking hot out. I'm looking straight ahead and there's literally like gas lines. When gas warps space, that's what's going on in front of me. That's how hot it is. What is going on? What's going on here? I didn't know I was heating up that much. Anyway, yeah, there's this question, what if I don't care? And this is what a timerless run is. This is what a timerless run is at its core. You do the run, and maybe it won't happen on the first run because of the ego. Eventually, what's going to happen, and soon, quick. I mean, I'm thinking 10 minutes in. You're going to ask yourself, "Wow, do I care? Do I actually care? Do I actually care enough to do this? Am I actually going to do this? Is this really what I wanted to do? I thought I just wanted to suck off my dick, look good, and go out in style, die in style. I thought that's what I wanted, Do I really want to win? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And I don't think anyone's really asking themselves. And I think the thing is, if you don't ask yourself that ever, you don't win. It's not, avoiding the question isn't answering the question. And I think actually people who ask that question and they give the answer that they really don't care about winning are at much higher odds of winning, because then, it's like, oh, maybe I do want to win, or maybe I can do both, and maybe winning isn't so bad. And then also, I think if you have good enough gameplay, you're going to win regardless. You're going to win regardless of what you want to do. So, but if you want to win, if you really want to win, you're going to make that effort. So, because no one's making that effort. I see everyone going around talking about their ego, but they're not making that effort. And it's like, something's wrong here. Something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. Something is clearly wrong here, and I'm starting to figure it out. And the truth is because I keep asking myself that question subconsciously during these timerless runs, pseudo timerless runs. They're not even real timerless runs. What would happen if I did a real timerless run? What would happen? How good would I get? I'm gonna do no splits runs. The only problem with timerless runs for me is that I lose my spreadsheet, because in my spreadsheet I record all my no reset runs. If I do a timeless run, suddenly I can't record it. So it's like, that's kind of annoying. Obviously a big mistake on my end. Like, I'm not gonna, hide behind that fact. Like, oops. I think what's gonna happen either is when I get the record, I'm gonna stop doing that sheet so that I can do offline timeless runs. Or actually, also what I think I'm going to do before I do complete timerless runs is do no splits runs, offline no splits runs. Because the thing is, I tried this years ago, like 2 years ago. I was trying this a lot actually. I was doing a lot of offline recording. I was doing a lot of recording, but I could never keep it together. I could never finish the runs. I could never try through the runs, and I always just rage quit. I always just rage quit or just quit out of apathy. And this is the reason I'm able to do this right now, or do it so much right now, is because I got kind of lucky. I don't reset anymore. There's no point in resetting. So there's no point in resetting. And actually, also ultimately, it just stems from understanding anxiety. Like, if what you can do, what you think you can do, is the optimum, if that's the ultimate play, if that's the case, then okay, all right, that's cool. If that's the case, then what happens is anxiety actually changes what you think you can do. It changes what you feel like you can do, and it changes what you can perceive. It changes your ability to perceive. That's really interesting because if anxiety is a real thing, like in the sense it actually changes what you can do, it means that gameplay is not linear. It's not a linear thing. It's actually it's a highly complex, dynamic thing, right? So that's really interesting in itself too, because what that means is, by what I mean by that, if you are forcing yourself to try your hardest, it doesn't mean you'll try harder. If you're paying less attention, it doesn't mean you're going to do worse, right? It's not linear. You don't add one value and then you get one value out. You add one value and you get a random value out. And it's not random, it's a determined value, but very weird. That's what gameplay is. It's very weird. So that's the interesting, because basically, in a nutshell, that means is you can't reset, because you're going to fail due to anxiety. And if you fail due to anxiety, then that's an element of gameplay. So if you just reset, you're pretty much discarding that. Like, imagine if somebody started learning Link of the Past, they only learn half the game without even an idea that there's more of the game. They go into a race, they do half of the game, and then they're done. And everyone's like, well, you only did half the game, dude. You're not done with the game. Like, what happened to the other half of the game? And they're like, what are you talking about? Isn't this the whole game? Half of the game, just the whole game. It's not the whole game. And you're like, no, you can keep going, dude. There's more of the game. And they're like, no, that's it. That's the whole run. That's the whole game. I got the world record. I don't know why you guys are so slow. And we're looking at them like, wait a minute. Don't you understand there's actually more dungeons you can do? There's more. You're supposed to do more things. You can play the game. Like, keep playing the game. And this guy gets pretty good, and he gets pretty good, and he keeps getting better and better times. But he's only doing half the game, and everyone's wondering, like, well, I don't understand. Why doesn't this guy do the whole game? Like, I really don't get it. Well, that's what's happening when people reset. I'm like, why are you resetting, dude? There's all these gameplay elements out there that you're like kind of just ignoring. Like, why don't you just do them? You just keep playing the game. Like, there's more gameplay there, Like, there's more stuff to do. Like, imagine if someone went into solo queue and they did half of a solo queue game. They just, or I don't know, maybe someone goes into playing League of Legends, or maybe someone's playing Melee. How about Melee? I got two funny analogies. Playing League of Legends, goes in the league and he's only using his mouse. He's not using a keyboard, and it's like, what are you doing, dude? Use the keyboard. There's a keyboard right there. Well, it's the same with resetting. It's the same with anxiety. It's a real thing. If someone's playing Melee, they're only using the joystick. There's no buttons. They're like, well, use the buttons. But it's crazy because they would refuse to accept that there are buttons there. They would refuse to accept that, and it's like, that's kind of silly to me, right? That's kind of crazy, but that's pretty much the idea of resetting, right? That's what a reset is. Doesn't make a lick of sense to me. So I can't reset anymore. So if I can't reset, I'm gonna do no reset runs, right? But no reset runs are cool. Let's do a timerless run because it's way cooler. And I can't reset these timerless runs. I can't reset offline no timer runs that were recorded. I can't reset those either. And I kept trying to do these like 2 years ago, but I kept failing. I would either rage or reset, or I would just quit halfway through. Like, I literally couldn't get through the runs, and then the few times I could, they're just really shitty. And so it was kind of it was a disaster, and I just gave up, right? And I went back to streaming, because when I streamed, I always tried harder, right? That's the crutch. That's the crutch of streaming. Well, nowadays what's going on is I can't reset, and actually I'm interested in what happens with anxiety and tryharding. I'm really interested in all this stuff, because I think the human brain, the human process, it's a system. It's scripted. Everything we do is scripted. It's completely scripted. So I want to be able to change the script, because the human brain is ascendant. It's an ascendant body part, mortal function. So I want to change the script. So now it's like I do a timerless run offline, different world. It's a completely different world. And that's pretty cool because there's a lot of good stuff with that. And I want to see what happens. Can I keep improving? Can I improve at all? Like, what am I going to be able to do? Where am I going to be able to go with this? And I think that's dope too, because in the weekly, I was playing nuts out of my mind. And it was because I had a reason to play. I did maybe 15, 20 runs in a row where I had no reason to play. I would just play the game. And my ability to focus on specific stuff and zone out stuff that's irrelevant that I don't have control over was far greater than it's ever been. It was far greater, it was far more practice, and it wasn't just that. It was also my ability to not tilt at all. Because again, I don't have control over this stuff. I would just ignore it completely. My ability to not rage, all that stuff, it was highly focused, it was highly tempered. I was playing like unbelievably out of my mind, and I don't think it's gonna happen every week. I don't think that's gonna happen every race. You know, I'm not interested. I don't care. It was interested because this is a new output that I don't play with. You know, I don't have this out a lot, and it's like that was like really changing stuff. So I don't know, guys. When I get my my Twitch.tv account back, I think a lot of people are gonna freaking out because it's like I don't think most people don't actually realize how good I'm playing. Because most of May, when I was playing like a fucking god, I was playing at like 2 a.m. So most people weren't even watching me. And then I didn't play for the second half of May. And then in June, again, same issue, I was playing at 2 a.m. And not only both of these times, I was super raging half of the time, right? And I was having these horrible hand issues. Well, since I started doing no reset runs, my hand issues have like mostly solved. Okay, that's cool. My sleep schedule's way better. Okay, that's cool. I'm not resetting anymore. I'm not raging at all. I haven't raged in like 15 runs. It's not even a thing that comes in my mind. So okay, that's cool. So people don't actually know like how good I'm playing. No one actually realizes it except for me. And I'm like, it's blowing my mind. I'm like, how have I played so good? Like, what the hell's going on here? I'm only getting better too. I'm only getting like far better. So it's pretty nutty. And actually, it's like one other big one, guys. One other big thing. I forget. I don't remember. I remember, guys. So the reason I'm not playing literally right now, my thumb hurts. My thumb hurts, so I'm not playing. Well, I thought your hand issues were healed, WQQQQRT. I thought your hand issues were fixed. They sort of. My thumb hurts like it used to hurt. My thumb hurts like it did in 2014 and 2015. Cool, that's good. Because this pain I'm not worried about. I don't care about this pain, I'm not worried about it. I kind of expect it, not a big deal, I don't care. The pain I was experiencing in January, December, the pain I was experiencing then was scary. It was scary and it was weird. And it was hurting me too because of my grip strength. I lost so much grip strength and I lost so much blood circulation. When I would touch the controller, I had a response in my body that said, don't press down on it. And so when I would play for about 30 minutes, I would play good. And then I couldn't play anymore, right? That's annoying because I can't play good. I can barely even play the game at all. But also, if I played for a little bit, or if I put any pressure on my controller, my thumb would get very cold. And this was scary. I don't know what the hell is going on here. It didn't even particularly hurt. It just got cold, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Well, you know, that disappeared. That doesn't exist anymore. It's not a thing. Both of those issues don't exist anymore. They're not things, and they're only improving. Well, that's actually great. You know, and my thumb hurts. Well, it hurts because I play the game for a lot, okay, and I have very weak hands, okay. But my hands are improving a lot because of the weight training and the grip stuff. So I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. It's like, well, this is a huge bonus. So just another benefit of doing these no reset runs, you know. And we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens 6 months from now, 1 month, 1 year. I don't know. I can't reset. In my mind, it doesn't make sense to reset, right? And in fact, in my mind, what it does make sense to do is do timerless runs, offline recorded runs with no timer. It makes sense to do 5 no reset runs in a row every day for a month straight. That's what it makes sense to do. And we're gonna see the benefits of that. Maybe it'll hurt me, I have no idea, right? I might be a worse player. Anyway guys, I'm gonna get out of here.